All right, now we have Ken Melrose, class of 62. Ken joined the Toro company in 1970. In early 2006, he retired as chairman and CEO of the Toro company and founded Leading by Serving, an organization in Orono, Minnesota. The company's mission is to advance the principles of servant leadership in business organizations. At Princeton, Ken majored in mathematics and electrical engineering. He was a varsity track letterman for 3 years. Ken earned a master's degree from MIT Sloan School of Management and an MBA from the University of Chicago. He's a frequent speaker at national conferences on the subject of servant leadership, building a values-based corporate culture, and how good cultures breed good ethics. Ken is a passionate supporter of the Princeton Faith and Work Initiative led by David Miller. David's here. He is a frequent speaker at Faith and Work programs. So thank you, Ken, so much for being here.
Thank you very much, Matt. Let me tell you, one of the most impactful events in my personal faith journey occurred in the early 80s. When I took a reading through the Bible course for my church, and the teacher started the first session by asking the group, and you can think about this yourself, what is the purpose of life? And I was pretty young then, so I didn't have a clue, neither did anybody else. Well, let me ask you this question. How many of you remember your grandfather? Keep your hand up if you remember your great-grandfather. Keep your hand up if you remember your great-great-grandfather. By that time, what was it? He said, oh, you don't remember your great-grandfather. You remember his middle name was, the color of his eyes, what tenure, what his color of eyes, so no one knew anything about their great-great-grandfather. He said, well, let's turn it around. Suppose I was asking you if you think your grandchildren would remember you, and of course we all would, and you all would say that. But when it got down to the great-great-grandfather, we realized that none of the people in my family are going to remember me for generations from now. In fact, nobody on the face of the earth is going to remember me for generations from now. And that was a pretty sobering thought, that even our family would. So he concluded that the purpose of life was to serve God by serving others. And what will be remembered from your life will be the ripple effects that you create. They will go on forever in various ways. And what you will be remembered is not from your ripple effects, not who you are or what you became, but what you do in life, what you do in your life. So this was the driving force in my early Toro career that moved me to a servant leadership model, values based on the New Testament. And it's a concept of turning the organization upside down. I, as a CEO, work for management work for the employees, and the employees work for customers. So the customers are the boss, and everybody underneath are serving their constituents above them in the box. So I'd like to share with you how I applied my faith and my Toro career by giving you an example of what a culture of faith-based values changed the way employees thought about their jobs and their role and the decisions they made. When I became CEO of Toro, I wanted to change Toro from the traditional Wall Street model, earnings per share every quarter, do what the analysts want you to do. If you don't, you're going to suffer in the market. And very short-oriented. So I wanted to change that to one that really focused on the employees and the customers and not so much on the shareholders. In fact, we said the most important constituent for us are employees. And then the next most important stakeholder is the customer. And the shareholders, by the way, are a distant third. So servant leadership principles such as we are a brother's keeper, dealing with others, lead with a humble heart, it's better to give than to receive. So these were some of the preemptive values that you directed the way we behaved and the way we led. The principle of what we are our brothers and sisters keepers meant to care for both employees and customers, now regardless of how they felt about you. And here's the example. As you might surmise, Toro has a lot of product liability cases. Lawnmowers and snow blowers can cause injury, and if they're not operated properly. Irrespective of the cause, Toro would typically get sued by the family. So we would get our attorneys involved, no matter who won the suit. We always lost the customer. Usually came with a lot of bad publicity. So two of our paralegals, Helen and Carol, in our product liability group, they thought this was really nuts. How do you love the customer when the customer's suing you? And the Toro stopped looking at this problem because we said this is a litigant problem. Because they're going to sue us. They called their attorney, and their attorneys called our attorney. To Helen and Carol, this wasn't a litigant problem. This is a customer satisfaction problem. These customers were very dissatisfied. They got their finger cut off, or their son got injured cutting the lawn, or whatever. So, whenever somebody had a problem with their mower or snowblower, we called, said, "You can't get it started." We'd help them. We'd help customers solve their problem. For example, a problem with the engine, call the dealer for them, help them get that, send them a part or whatever. Well, Carol and Helen said, well, since we are our brothers and sisters keepers, we should care for these customers who are going to sue us, especially since someone in their family may be hurt. So they proposed to management that one or the other ought to call up the family and say, we want to come visit you. And get on a plane with an engineer and visit each of these families and try to work out an agreement with the family, with the family's attorney present. We wouldn't meet unless the attorney was there. So management said, okay, let's try it. And we started the process in 1991. It's called Alternative Dispute Resolution. We didn't really know what to expect. In my first 20 years at Toro, from 1970 to 1990, the MO was call our lawyers because most of the cases are going to go to court. And this was, of course, very expensive. It was draining on all the resources. Insurance premiums started to skyrocket, and we always lost the customer. So Carol and Helen, with the engineer, visited each family with their attorney to review what happened. But their mission was to say, first and foremost, we're really sorry this happened. You're a customer of ours, and we feel badly that our mower, our snowblower, whatever, participated in this problem that you had, the dad or the son or whoever. So we care about you, and let's see what we can work out that would be fair. So Carol or Helen would usually write out a check in the living room of the home before they left. Since 1991, now we have followed the alternative dispute resolution process, and in that time, 2/3 of all the cases were settled right there in the home. They were all settled amicably. Almost all the others, except for maybe a 0.1%, were settled by mediation, which was still a friendly process. Of the 1,500 claims from 1991 to the time I retired in 2006, 1,500 claims, only one went to court. Only one. Product liability costs dropped on the average for each year, dropped 75%. There was no more bad publicity. And here's the best part. These families were customers for life. They would go up and down their neighborhoods and say, you never guess what happened. Somebody from Toro came out and said they were sorry. And they wanted to know what they could do to help. So the empowerment of these two employees in a caring way guided by the principle that we are our brothers and sisters' keeper, they found a win-win solution for all. Over time, our servant leadership culture energized employees to take more initiative, to build trust in their teams, focus on satisfying customers. Everybody in the organization has customers. Some of them work for the same company. Not everyone has a homeowner customer that wants to buy a loan. And to be accountable. It's a culture that still exists today, long after I retired. Thank you.